stopped at the Walmart in Pflugerville, Texas today, and the shelves were all empty. Anybody know why? I stopped at the Walmart in Pflugerville, Texas today, and the shelves were all empty. Anybody know why? I stopped at the Walmart in Pflugerville, Texas today, and the shelves were all empty. Anybody know why?
Shalom. Shalom. Before I start, I want to give all honors and glories and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wahawa Kakwadash, Yahweh, which is the one true name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, but his one true name is Yahweh Shai. Bahashem meaning coming in the name, Ba means coming in, Ha means the, Shah means name, Rakah meaning spirit, Kodash meaning holy. Double honors to the elders and the apostles and bishops of Great Millstone who will well and teach well, because those are the men who have learned this truth from through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Peace, blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect, and shalom to you sincere brothers that are scattered abroad, pushing forth this word in truth and sincerity. And shalom to you sincere sisters that's listening in silence as the scriptures command you to do so. I am the brother Mashiach Razakah, and pretty much I showed a little short clip. There's this woman in Texas, and she was looking at the shelves in Walmart, and all the shelves are empty. Now, there's a lot of curiosities, if I'm saying it right, curiosities throughout the earth of people wondering why the shelves are being empty. Why are the shelves getting empty? Okay, what is going on? What are causing these shelves to be empty? And pretty much, what you fail to realize is that these high power elites, they're pushing forth their agendas to implement their new world order, which is that CHIP, okay, which they're trying to establish a digital currency. Okay, so they have to bring in a whole new system to get the economy out of debt. Okay, and these high power elites here, they're the ones that's ruling. They're the ones that's in control and that are in power. So we're going to look up some information. Now, these are man-made famines, by the way. Okay, and when you go to Google, anybody can put this in. What is man-made famines? Now, it's going to ask you, it's going to say, what are man-made famines? And when you put in what are man-made famines, a whole list is going to come up. And it's going to tell you what man-made famines are. It says, what are man-made famines? And it says, a man-made famine is a famine caused by human actions such as warfare. The most common human cause of famine warfare can destroy crops, food supplies, and disrupt the distribution of food. For an example, the Assad government in Syria used starvation as a tactic of war. It says blockades. Blockades can prevent food and other supplies from getting in, as in the case of Yemen, where Saudi Arabia and the United States Arab Emirates imposed blockade. It says repressive policies. Repressive policies can include cultural religious persecution, harsh grind, requisition, and internal passport systems. For an example, the Holodomor in Ukraine was caused by repressive policies, including the law of spicklets, blacklisting, and harsh grain requisition. Poor distribution of food supplies. Inequalities can result in a lack of purchasing power among the poor, intentional destruction of crops and seeds. So look at this. It says poor disruption of food supplies, right? It says inequalities can result in a lack of purchasing power among the poor. It says intentional destruction of crops and seeds. Human actions can intentionally destroy crops and seeds. Destruction in agricultural equipment and supplies. Human actions right, can destroy agricultural equipment and supplies. Market collapse. It says human actions can cause and a market collapse. Restricting the exchange of produce between farmers and consumers. Human actions can restrict the exchange of produce between farmers and consumers. Some say that famines are primarily man made and that natural disasters can be addressed with aid from relief of agencies and wealthy governments. So there you go. It says more often than not, man-made famines involve human agents wreaking havoc on the process of food production. This includes intentional destruction of crops and seeds and agricultural equipment and supplies such as fertilizers. So man-made, these are purposely being this is purposely being happened. These are purposely being established by these high power elites. Why? Let's see why. Okay? This is why. This is why. This is why they're pushing man-made famines. There's empty shelves. They're rising up the food prices for 5 items. For 5 items, let's say you get eggs, milks, eggs. This is egg, some milk, a couple of let's say one bag of oranges and three little avocados, and let's say you grab some bread. That's gonna come up to $30-$40 just for that. Just for that. So when you look at usdebtclock.org, all the countries are in trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars in debt all the way down. So they have to bring in a whole new system to get these other countries out of debt. They have to reset a whole new system. They got to bring in a whole new system, which is leading into what? The CBDC, which is the CHIP, which is this right here. Okay? This is going to be the new currency. And they're going to make this mandatory. So for you to be able to work, for you to be able to purchase resources of food supply, of water, let's say if you're trying to even put gas in your car. Let's say if you're trying to work or anything, you're trying to have, you paying your bills, you paying your rent. All of that is going to be mandatory on this thing here. And you must have this to be able to survive and make it into this society. Okay? Now, if you take this here, you're going to be destroyed because there's no repentance for taking this. But this is going to be the new currency. Okay? Fiat currency is almost out. They're about to get rid of fiat currency. Okay? This is going to be the new currency, the CBDC, the central bank digital currency, which is run by these people here. These people here are the ones that's controlling and that's ruling, and they're establishing their agendas. Okay? Their agenda is to bring in the new world order. Okay? Now, getting back to the scriptures. Now we're going to get into the scriptures. This is Jeremiah 30:5. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. It says, "For thus saith the Lord." Anytime you see Lord in caps, that's talking about the Heavenly Father Yahweh. It says, "We have heard a voice of trembling of fear and not of peace." Verse 6, "As ye know and see whether a man doeth travail with child." A man doesn't travail with child. A woman travails with child. Okay? And it says, "Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail." And that word travail, it goes into suffering pain or painful efforts. Okay? And it says, "And all faces are turned into paleness, which is the feeble and weak." Because it's going to come to a time where a lot of people are going to reach the spirit of paleness. They're not going to be able to handle the things that are getting ready to take place. We're going into civil war and unrest. There's going to be a lot of mayhem. It's going to be a lot of betrayal. It's going to be a lot of execution and judgments. A lot of things is going to happen in the time of Jacob's trouble. Okay? Verse 7, "As for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it." So we got to go literally through Jacob's trouble first before we can be saved. No, we're not already in Jacob's trouble. No, the Jacob trouble is not just going to be on the heathen nations. And no, we're not going to be saved before Jacob trouble. We literally have to go through Jacob trouble first before we can be saved. Okay? And I got a precept, Daniel 12:1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, Michael the archangel, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, right? And there shall be a time of trouble. So we got to go literally through Jacob trouble. Okay? Now, we don't know if we're going to make it to to see the time of Jacob trouble. We don't know. But if we are, and that if we do make it to the time of Jacob trouble to dwell amongst that time, it's going to be a devastating time upon the whole entire world. You're not going to be able to escape to go to the north or go to the south. This is going to be a global thing. The global economic collapse. This is going to be a global thing, right? And it says, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in a book. So we got to go through Jacob trouble first before we can be saved. Okay? That's why the scriptures tell us in Micah 2:10, arise and depart, for this is not your rest. This place called America is not your rest. It says, because it is polluted, it shall destroy you even with a sore destruction. So there's a judgment that the Lord is going to bring upon the earth. And you don't want to treat this place as your resting place. We're in the last days. We've been in the last days since the Messiah first stepped foot on the scene. So we are to be measuring the times diligently within itself, as the scriptures say in 2nd Esdras 9:1, right? It says measure the times diligently within itself. Okay, the scriptures also tells us in Romans, I think it's 13. Let me see, Romans, is it let me see, it might be 12:8. No, that's not it. Salakia. It might be I can't think of it right now. Salakia. Let me get it. It's near, right? Revelations 13:11. That's what it was. Revelation 13:11. It says, and that knowing the time, that now is a high time to awake up out of sleep. And it's what's this talking about? This talking about spiritually, okay? Not physically, because yes, you got people that's awake physically, but they're not awake out of sleep spiritually. They spiritually still sleep. Okay? It says, in that knowing the time, that now is a high time to awake up out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than we believe. Our salvation is near. Look at all these prophecies and rumors of wars that's taking place on the earth. This is 2nd Esdras 15:1. It says, behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. And this goes back to Isaiah 53:1, where it says, those that believe in that report, right? Who are the men that believe in the report? The prophets. Those men that are out there teaching, being on fire for this truth, right? That's what they're doing. They're warning our people. Right? It says, behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. Those are the men that believe in that report. But our people don't take heed to it. They don't believe in that report, but the prophets do. Verse 2, it says, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Verse 3, for it says, fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee, because we deal with that all the time. You got a lot of these scoffers and demons and bug outs constantly coming against this truth, coming against the ministry. Verse 3, verse 4, it says, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. And that's a judgment that's coming for all them scoffers and demons and bug outs. This is going to become a destruction for you. Verse 5, it says, behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, right? And one of the main plagues that the Lord is going to bring upon this place called America is thermonuclear destruction, right? It says, behold, it says, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, salakia, famine, death, and destruction. Those are the calamities that the Lord is bringing on the earth. And we see some of those things happening now, but in the time of Jacob trouble, they're going to intensify. There's going to be a lot of sword, famine, death, and destruction. Right? Verse 6, for wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are being fulfilled. Right? Esau's bringing forth a lot of unrighteous decrees. Isaiah 10 and 1. Right? His unrighteous decrees. There's a lot of his unrighteous decrees that he's bringing forth, man. Okay? It's a lot of things that he's doing. He's bringing forth his new world order. He's trying to establish his new system, his beast system. Right? That's why the scripture said in Isaiah 47 and 3, thy nakedness is uncovered, his wickedness. Because we see the things that he's doing. The scriptures even say we're not ignorant of his devices. We're not ignorant of his devices. We know what Esau, who he is, and what his plans are, and what his agendas is. That's why he's getting upset. Verse 7, therefore saith the Lord. Verse 8, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. Verse 9, it says, and therefore saith the Lord, I will surely avenge them, and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Verse 10, behold, my people is a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. Talking about America, right? Because our people are a flock to slaughter, right? Verse 11, it says, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and stretched out arm, and will smite Egypt with plagues as before. So the Lord put plagues upon ancient Egypt, right? He's going to do the same thing with this place called America. This is modern day Egypt. So when you read in the scriptures of verse 11, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues, that's talking about this place called America. This scripture here is not talking about ancient Egypt. Ancient Egypt fell already. This is talking about America, okay? It says, as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. And we can prove that this is talking about America here, verse 11, because all we got to do is go to Revelation 18, and it talks about the Lord judging that whore and putting up and bringing plagues upon her, right? And one of the main plagues is the thermonuclear destruction. That's one of the main plagues. Verse 12, it says, Egypt, which is America, shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and the punishment. It says plague and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. And that's what the Lord is going to do. He's going to put punishment upon this place. Verse 13, it says that they till the ground shall mourn. It says, for their seed shall fell through the blasting and hail with a fearful consolation. Verse 14, woe unto the world and them that dwell therein. That word woe means warning or destruction. Verse 15, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another with swords in their hand. This is going into the hour of civil unrest, right? This leading into the hour of temptation, but this is civil unrest here, right? Everybody's not going to comply to that beast system and take that damn sea hit. That's going to cause a lot of war, race wars, right? Verse 16, for there shall be sedition. And when you go into the meaning of that word sedition, it means to rebel or revolt against authority, against a power. They're going to go up against them. It says, for there shall be sedition among men. So the civilians here of this society, the citizens here, is not going to comply to the system. They're going to go up against them, right? They're going to rebel against America and its soldiers and its agendas. Everybody's not going to get that hip. It says, for there shall be a sedition among men. It says, invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power, right? Because they're not going to be able to gain control over the citizens here. So now they're going to have to do what? They're going to have to send out a military. Verse 17, and man shall desire to go into the city and shall not be able. This is going into Jacob's trouble. This is going into martial law. Verse 18, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid, because of the things that they're going to see. It's going to be so much havoc, so much crime, so much ravishing, so much judgment going out. It's gonna put fear, and it's gonna put fear in people. They're gonna be bugged out at the things that they see. It's going to terrify the hell out of them. Verse 19, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their goods with the sword, and it says it shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and great tribulation. There's going to be a famine of food. And these are man-made famines that are being established. They're purposely doing this to fulfill their agenda. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of famine of food. So it's going to become to a lot of betrayal. You're going to have a lot of betrayal going on amongst one another. People that call their friends day one homeboys, they're going to betray you because it's going to be every man for himself in that time. Second Esdras 16 and 70, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. Verse 71, they shall be like madmen, sparing none, right? But still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. You're going to have a lot of that going on. Verse 72, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. It's going to be a lot of betrayal, a lot of crime, increase, civil unrest. Ain't going to be no 911. 911 going to go out of business. Ain't going to be no call, no paramedics. All that's going to go out. All that's going to all be through, man. Done away with, right? Done. There's going to be so much crime that the paramedics is going to be busy. It's going to be so much crime, the fucking line going to be busy. The police is going to go out of business. Ain't going to be no 911. It's going to be military, right? Verse 72, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Verse 73, then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. And each and every one of us individually in Jacob's trouble are going to be on our own. The Apostle Gabar was talking about that recently. You got to get prepared. I'm speaking to myself first and foremost. Ain't going to be no being under brothers in the time of Jacob's trouble. You're going to have to go through your own thing. The Apostle Gabar said that. So out his own mouth, he said that. So this is why, again, we got to be getting prepared and getting ourselves right and working on ourselves, getting our spirit strong and growing in the faith. Asking the Lord to increase us in the spirit of faith. Because that's all we're going to have in the time of Jacob's trouble, man. Revelation 12 and 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. See, these Edomites, these damn Amalekites, they know that their kingdom is almost up. This is why they're pushing forth their agendas. This is why we're hearing more and more and more rumors of wars. We got Israel trying to bomb Iran and their facilities, right? And you got Russia giving a warning Israel to not bomb Iran. So it's a lot of mayhem and war, rumors of war that are taking place on the earth. And this is all fulfilling prophecy. Zechariah 14 and 1, behold, the day of the Lord cometh, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. Verse 2, for I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled. It says, and the women ravaged, and half of the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall be cut off from the city. And this is going into Jacob's trouble, which we just read. That's going into Jacob's trouble, right? 2 Timothy 3 and 1. It says, this know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. Let's look up perilous, right?
Perilous.
Full of danger or risk, exposed of imminent risk or disaster or ruin. Perilous times shall come. So this is what's going to take place. This is what's going to happen on the earth. This is why we want to be prayed up. So, these famines that you see, you go into Walmart and you see in these famines here, these empty shelves here, guess what? These men are purposely doing it to fulfill their agendas, and mainly to fulfill prophecy, because the Lord is setting all of this up anyway. Because these prophecies have to be fulfilled. If these prophecies don't come to pass, then the Lord can't come back. These prophecies have to be fulfilled so the Lord Yahweh Shai can come back. So, hey, man, these famines that you see in these stores are man-made and purposely being done to fulfill their agendas, which their agenda is to bring forth what? This right here, the CBDC, the central bank digital currency, which is this damn CHIP. This is their agendas. So if you walk in through the store and you see empty shelves and you see all of this here, just remember, this is what is getting ready to come. And this is what they're going to mandate. They're going to make mandatory. So, hey, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying, man. On to the next one. Till next time I say, Shalom.